Hello crafters and welcome back. It's November 1st and you know that means that Spellbinders has new club kits. So today I wanted to start off with the Glimmer Kit and the clear Stampin' Die of the month. Now this video is going to focus more on the Glimmer Kit and I'll show you the two cards that I made with the clear Stampin' Die at the end of the video and just kind of give you a quick run through of how I put those together. Now, these two are absolutely gorgeous, and I love the Glimmer Kit this month because it is a doozy. Now, you can see the images by themselves are gorgeous. I love the floral folk type of motif look. And then you've also got a die. Now, you only have two pieces to the set. You've got a glimmer plate and a die, and they both foil and cut everything in one go. Now, the clear Stampin' Die of the month has the same feel as the Glimmer Kit. You've got those beautiful, swirly, flourishing motifs, and you've got a bunch of sentiments, and then you've got the coordinating dies. Now, the coordinating die will cut out two of the flourishes or the motifs, and then you've got 5 sentiments that will be cut out by that as well. And the scripty font used is very nice. So the first thing I'm going to do is start off with the Glimmer Kit. I'm taking that one Glimmer plate and I'm going to place it on some hammer mill cardstock. So you could use the Spellbinder specialty cardstock, which works perfectly for foiling, or you could use the hammer mill, which you could grab on Amazon. They both foil perfectly. And I'm cutting some blush foil and I'm just going to position this on my piece of cardstock, and I'll go ahead and tape everything down so that it's in position and foil it in one go. Now, I love this feature on this set because I'm all for doing less work when it comes to crafting, and the fact that this foils everything in one go means I don't have to heat my glimmer machine as long either. So once that's foiled, I'll pull off the foil and you can see everything is foiled pretty nicely. If you do have overfoiling, do not worry because the die works in such a way that it's going to cut all of these images out at once and it's going to cut it right up to the foil, so you're not going to have that white border like you have on most of the sets. Now, before I cut anything out, I am going to add some color to these floral pieces here. And I'm using some peach or beigey colors. I've got RO2, EOO, and EO2. And I'm just doing some simple Copic coloring here just to add that color to these images. Nothing fancy. And you can see that coloring on foiled images is actually quite easy, especially with Copic markers. Now, if you do happen to color and you're using darker colors, always go over the foiling, I'd say, with a colorless blender or a lighter color in the same color family, and it cleans the foil right up. So now we can actually go ahead and place our die on top of these images. Now you can see the main thing you want to do is center the sentiment there. And then make sure that all of the foiled pieces have the die right up to the edge. And you can see once everything is cut out, it looks absolutely gorgeous. And you don't have the white border, but the foil on the border is, I think, even more pretty. Now, the fact that this cuts everything out all at once is the most exciting part to me because you could actually cut a whole bunch of these out and create lots of cards with them. Now, moving on to my background, I'm actually using the diagonal foil plate here, the diagonal stripes, and I'm lining it up with an A2 size card base. Now, this is just a little bit smaller than A2 size because I do want it to sit on my card base with a little border, and I'm attaching some tape right through those diagonal lines. I'll go ahead and add my foil using the hinge method and then attach another piece of washi tape just to hold it in place, cut off any extra foil, and I'll heat that up and foil it on my glimmer machine. Once I'm done, it's important when you use the background plates like this to use those magnetic tools that you may have that come with the kit. I have one of the older tools. My nails come in handy to prevent me from burning my fingers to peel up that washi tape so I can get it off right away. And now I'm going to take my background and add some ink to it. So you can see it foiled absolutely perfectly. And I'm taking some Altenew Galactic Stream ink, and this is like a nice deep teal. And I'm just applying it straight to the paper from the pad. So this is another foil resist technique. Now I used the Copics over the foil. Now I'm using the ink over the foil. And all you really have to do is buff off the foiled areas. Now you can see that the panel's a bit splotchy. Don't worry, over time the ink will even out on your panel. Now I'm just grabbing some shimmer watercolor paints, and I'm adding the white shimmer and the gold shimmer. I'm just splattering it all over the background just to give it more of an artistic look. I always think splatter just makes everything look more artsy. Now I'm focusing my splatter on the outer edges of the card because I am going to use a die to cut out the center. Now, I would recommend making sure that your panel is completely dry. I'm using the Essential Diamonds, and I'm using the 5th diamond in from the outside, so the 5th smallest. And I'm just going to place it in the center of my panel, and I'm adding my washi tape, very, very important, taping the die and then into the center of the diamond. And I'm doing this because I'm not 100% sure that my panel is dry and I don't want to ruin the portion that I'm actually going to use for my card. So you can see here that I've taken off that tape and it actually removed the foil as well as part of the ink background because it wasn't completely dry. So that's really something I wanted to stress. Now when I'm putting these two diamonds together, so I grabbed a diamond that's a little bit larger than the one that I used for the inside, and I'm lining them both up on a magnetic sheet because it just makes it easier to do. I'm taping them together with some washi, and then I'm going to place it on some rose gold mirror cardstock. This is a opulent cardstock, and I'm going to cut out a diamond frame, which I'm going to add to the background of this card. So you can see that this set is perfect for not only cutting out centers, for cutting out focal centers, but you can also create a bunch of different sized frames. So now that I've cut out this diamond, I'm going to go ahead and use some liquid glue to attach it to the background that we just cut the initial diamond out of. Now you don't have to do this, but I find that it just creates a finished look for this card. And it matches the stripes in the background too. So the next step is to add some foam tape. So you don't have to add foam tape. I'm adding the foam tape because I want the dimension. And I'm adding it around that diamond that we just created. And what I'm going to do is use some charcoal shimmer pearl cardstock. This again is from the Sizzix Opulent packs. And I'm going to add it in behind that the diamond to create the background. And I'm cutting off all of the extra overhanging pieces. You can see the back of this panel looks like a mess, but that's okay. No one's going to see it. And I did just cut off extra pieces around the edges because I am going to have to add more foam to attach this to my card base. So keep that in mind. And now I can work on my floral arrangement in the center of the diamond. Now adding that foam created a bit of space between the front, so that teal portion and the charcoal portion, so I could really fit these floral pieces in with some foam adhesive. And I'm just kind of placing the florals wherever I want them, using the foam to prop them up, and then I'm adhering the stems to either the frame or to wherever I need them to go in order to create a cohesive look here. Now I'm going to add this larger flower in the bottom center of the diamond after I've attached this really nice piece. I think this piece that I'm adding right here is my favorite. So you can see I'm kind of placing it and going back and forth to see where I need to add the foam squares, and then I'll attach it, and then I'll just add a bit of extra glue to attach this to the teal portion of the background. Okay, and once that's nice and on there, as I mentioned earlier, I'll go ahead and just use one foam square to add that larger flower. And then once I've done this, you'll notice that the design looks a little bit uneven. There's a lot of stuff going on the right side, not too much on the left. So this is where I'll add those two leafy pieces just to kind of balance the design out. And I think that's also another important thing to remember when you're creating your designs and putting things together. It's nice to kind of balance out the design. Like for example, if I didn't put too much on the left hand side, I might have put the sentiment there instead to balance it out. But because everything's pretty much balanced, I'm just going to add a foam strip to that sentiment and add it to the bottom. So that's kind of my rule of thumb. Either balance out all of your die kit pieces and add your sentiment in the center, and if not, add your sentiment to the area that needs a bit more. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm using those smaller foam strips to add to the edges of the back, and I'll attach this to the card base, leaving a bit of a border. And if you know me or you've been watching my videos or you're subscribed, you know I cannot leave a card without embellishing. So I have the splatter there and you would think that'd be enough, but no, I have to add some of these Pink Fresh Studio iridescent drops. Now you could use clear gems if you have those, but I really like these drops. So I've been adding them to almost all of my projects lately. Spellbinders did just add a wide selection of gems and pearls to their store, so you can go ahead and check those out too, and they'd work perfectly for this. So now that that card is done, I want to show you how I used the clear Stampin' die for the two other cards that I created. So for my first card, which is that teal colored one, I used some Princess Gold Ranger embossing powder basically to stamp out those two motifs, and I stamped them out twice over the edge of the panel and heat embossed them. Then I grabbed some Altenew inks. I started off with the Teal Cave, which is the lightest. I went over the images, then I used some Starlight and then Galactic Stream just lightly over the images and the edges just to darken them. And then I used a dry cloth or towel to just buff off the embossing, which is very important. I then grabbed my acrylic ink in white. I watered it down with a bit of water, and using my paintbrush, I just splattered it over the panel. I let that dry, and while that was drying, I grabbed the stamp set and stamped out the Sending Love sentiment using some VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink. I then grabbed the coordinating die from the die set, and I cut this out of the white cardstock here. I not only cut it out of that, but I cut it out of some gold mirror cardstock, and I attached the two in an offset fashion just to highlight it a bit. I attached this to the dried background with a strip of foam adhesive, and then I attached it to the card base after I had matted it onto some gold mirror cardstock again. Then all I had left to do was to add these gold matte pearls, and this card was basically finished. Now for the second card, I actually cheated a little bit. For this card, I actually grabbed some pattern paper. So this is some matte gold foiled pattern paper from a scrapbooking pack that I have. You could have actually used some of the different geometric glimmer plates that they've released recently to do this and use the gold matte foil to foil a panel. I cut it down to a little bit smaller than the A2 sized card panel, and then I stamped and heat embossed the arched floral. I colored it in with some Prisma colored pencils, and I stuck to the peach and teal theme that I've been using. I cut out this motif with the coordinating die, and then I adhered it to the panel, but before I adhered it completely, I attached an oval vellum using the Fluted Classics oval set. This is the smallest, or sorry, maybe the third smallest oval. I used some foam squares to attach this to the panel along with the motif. And then I also stamped out the sentiment and cut that out with the coordinating die and attached that. And then I added some large chunky gold embellishments. So those are the three cards that I have to share with you today. I hope you've been inspired to create something similar yourself, and don't forget to grab these sets. I have a link in the description below. Please, if you're subscribing to these Glimmer Kits and you've been to these club kits and you've been inspired by me, please use the link. It is an affiliate link, and I do get a little bit of a commission. Not only that, but Spellbinders recognizes that you guys are inspired by my work, and they help me keep bringing you these videos. So please go ahead and do that. If you're already doing that, I totally appreciate your support. And again, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I will be bringing you another couple videos which feature the small and large die of the month and the APG die along with the embossing folder. So I hope you've enjoyed my video. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.